It's time for Toker Talk Radio, the voice of the marijuana nation.
What are you people? On dope?
Where you can toke.
I inhaled
Or you can talk.
I experimented with marijuana and didn't inhale.
Or you can toke and talk.
10 federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
While we talk about toke on Toker Talk Radio.
So, by the way, when it comes to pot, if you're 40 years old, you live in a log cabin in Oregon, you got 12 giant pot plants in your backyard, have a ball.
Live from beautiful Portland, Oregon at Rolla J Studios.
Hey, this is great. Just not cannabis.
Plus your calls live at 971-533-7111.
They're walking on their pants with their cap on backwards, listening to Enema Man and Snoopy Poop Dog.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
Holland, is it real? Don't tease me.
We're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana, and the next thing you know, they got 10 years.
And now, here's your host, the guru of ganja graphics, the sultan of sativa statistics, and the worst nightmare of a reefer-mad prohibitionist. A polite, perspicacious, productive pothead with a propensity for PowerPoint. Radical, Russ Belville.
We're all potted up on weed! Oh, jeez! Dang it, I never should have gotten all potted up on weed. Where the hell is everything? Cat messed up all our volumes, so... Are you there? Testing.
Am I here?
You are there. Welcome back, everyone. It's Toker Talk Radio, Hour 2 here. Live from Rolla J Studios in beautiful Portland, Oregon. We're going to continue our CPS week. After our next break, we're going to be getting on the phone with our own Lively Libra, a.k.a. Lisa Calvin, a retired school teacher who's got all sorts of perspective on the CPS in the schools angle. Because, teachers, when they're made aware of certain things by law, they have to report it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that turns out. Hint, not good. But before we do that, I want to follow up on something I did in Behind the Headlines today, which was that great poll about pot smoking and employment and how people think you shouldn't be fired if you smoke pot in a legal state off work. So that led me to write a piece for National Cannabis Coalition. What does America think about pot? Now that 2 states have legalized marijuana use for adults and 20 states have protections for medical use of cannabis, it's clear that American attitudes toward marijuana have changed drastically. So here are 5 opinions that a majority of Americans hold toward pot, according to the latest opinion polls. Number 1, marijuana use by adults aged 21 and older should be legal. Now, the Gallup organization made worldwide headlines last month when it proclaimed, for the first time, Americans support legalizing marijuana. According to their poll, 58% supported it. And in fact, that was the first time since Gallup's been asking, dating back to 1969, when the support was just 12%. But Gallup's poll was not the first to show majority support. Rather than being the first or even an exception, Gallup merely confirmed what has been found in 11 polls since 2009. Angus Reid Global Monitor, 52 to 55% among 4 polls they took. Gallup has gotten 50 and 58%. The Pew Center's gotten 52%. Public Policy Polling got 58%. Rasmussen got 56%. Zogby's gotten 52%. And Quinnipiac University poll showed 51% support for marijuana legalization nationally. Woo. And since Colorado and Washington passed legalization in 2012, there's only been 4 polls that have shown less than 50% support for legalization. Now, interestingly enough, 3 come from news organizations. ABC News got a 48%, CBS News got a 47%, Fox News got a 46%, and then the other one is Gallup's 2012 poll of 48%, which, of course, has just been trumped by the 2013 poll of 58%. Number 2 opinion Americans have about marijuana: when a state legalizes marijuana, the federal government should let them. After 2 states legalized recreational marijuana use, pollsters asked what the federal response should be. In December, HuffPost YouGov found that 51% felt the feds should leave pot smokers alone in legal states. Gallup found that 64% opposed the federal government taking steps to enforce federal anti-marijuana laws in the newly legalized states. Number 3. Marijuana smokers should not be fired for their work pot use if it is legal in their state. Again, that's this week's HuffPost YouGov poll. Found 64% said you shouldn't be able to fire someone just because they smoke pot in their off hours. And even in a illegal marijuana state, it's still 45% that said you should be able to keep your job compared to 32% who think you should be able to be fired. And that's in prohibition states. Number 4, marijuana is safer than alcohol. As early as 2002, Zogby found that 47% of those surveyed believed alcohol was the most dangerous drug, followed by tobacco at 28% and marijuana at 20%. In 2009, Rasmussen reported that 51% of its poll respondents agreed that marijuana was a safer substance to consume than alcohol. And in 2012, public policy polling found that 45% of respondents felt marijuana is safer, 42% disagreed, and 12% weren't sure. And number 5, opinion that a majority of Americans believe: marijuana is medicine, and patients should not be punished for choosing it. In fact, support for medical use of marijuana is so widespread and overwhelming, it's difficult to imagine another political issue that has so much public support and so little political support. If you take a look at the polling page on medicalmarijuana.procon.org, they list 28 polls dating back to 1995 with support ranging from 60% to as high as 85%. Well, except for one poll, and that was of the doctors in the American Society for Addiction Medicine, the rehab guys, and their opinions were split. 36% for medical marijuana, 26% neutral, 38% opposed. And that's among the rehab doctors, folks. You can check that out at nationalcannabiscoalition.com, or the easier URL is ncc420.com. I've posted 2 large-size, full-color graphs on all those poll numbers as well. You'll want to get a copy of those. They're really cool. We're back with Lisa Calvin right after this.
It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business. You know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business. You know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. It's simply business. You know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business.
I'm Radical Russ Belville, and I want to thank you for listening to 420 Radio. We couldn't survive without you and our sponsors, and I'd like you to check out one of our prime sponsors, the National Cannabis Coalition. I've been working with NCC since June of 2012, and I'm proud to be part of the team they have assembled. National Cannabis Coalition is building the partnerships with reformers, lawmakers, and industry we need to be successful. Visit the National Cannabis Coalition website at nationalcannabiscoalition.com, or the easier-to-remember ncc420.com. That's where you'll get the exclusive first look at my radical rants, as well as informative articles from the nation's top cannabis pundits. Visit ncc420.com today, and if you have your phone handy, text Russ to 420-420 to support NCC and 420 Radio. It's a free text message that helps us help you end adult marijuana prohibition. Learn more at ncc420.com, and thanks for supporting independent marijuana legalization public radio. The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. Please do not give up your precious liberties. There's nothing wrong with standing up for our constitutional rights, and in fact, it's the only way to honor the Constitution that recognizes our natural rights. Treat law enforcement with respect, and respect the Constitution by standing up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak to my attorney, Omar Figueroa." Omar Figueroa has more than a decade of experience in federal and California courts and graduated from Yale University, Stanford Law School, and Trial Lawyers College. Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at www.omarfigueroa.com.
Welcome back, everyone. 11 minutes after the hour. And we're going to go back to our phone lines here because we have a fabulous guest on the line for us, the host of the Libra Lounge, which you can hear regularly here on 420 Radio. We've got Lisa Calvin, a.k.a. Lively Libra. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing well. Hello, Russ. Hello, Brian.
Oh, I didn't have your mic there. Sorry. There.
Hi.
How are things in Iowa? How are things in Iowa today?
They're very cold, actually. Cold, windy, icky, poopy.
Cold, windy, icky, poopy. I got a great photo on the screen, by the way, of you and Cheryl Schumann and Sharon Ravert from the Boston Freedom Rally. There's a trio of Charlie's Angels of marijuana crime fighting right there.
That was really fun. That was really kind of very spontaneous and fun.
Well, this is interesting because you've just been, you're kind of new into activism and we're kind of forced into this. And we're doing CPS week this week. And we wanted to talk a little bit about how the marijuana laws and the influence of Child Protective Services affected you as a teacher. So where do you want to start?
Well, I think we just need to go back to the beginning of my career because my most vivid memories happened early on. And what happened as a result of those encounters with CPS formed the way I dealt with it all in the future. So, I'm a new teacher, 1985, 86. Yeah, that's school year, 86. Yeah, and so I sub for a semester, and then I get hired on as a long-term sub in a middle school in a very poor neighborhood in South Des Moines, and I am trained in all Iowa teachers. We have a mandatory child abuse reporting training that we have to go through, and it involves videos. It used to involve videos and quizzes, and now it's all online. But you learn everything from how to report to the phases of bruises, how to catch a child lying if their story doesn't jive, so you know when to call if you suspect that a child is being abused. Mm-hmm. And as a public school teacher, it's not just in the classroom. You are, anywhere you go, you're a mandatory reporter.
Oh, really? Store. You're out in the store, grocery store, and you see a kid with bruises and talk to him a little. And
It's your obligation, and if it's found that you do not report the abuse and something happens, you can be involved in lawsuits later.
Wow. Okay.
So it is your protection. I mean, that's how it is in Iowa. I really don't know other states. But so anyway, I take this training, and lo and behold, about 2 months into my career, I'm having a really hard time. I'm a young saying I want to be their sister. It's not working out. They're sixth graders, 35 of them in a classroom at one time, and eighth graders. And so I learned that I can't really be their sister, but I can't really be their mom. I don't know how to do that. I'm only 24 myself, and 23. So they, sure enough, I get close to kids because I learned that, you get close to them one-on-one. And that seemed to work for me. And a young girl, very small, statured young girl came up to me one day and pulled up her sleeves, and her arms were just completely full of bruises. And she was gaunt and it looked very hungry, and told me that she had been hurt at home. And I don't remember all the details. It was so long ago, but I called, in my naivete, I called CPS and reported it like I was supposed to. And the next day, the girl was not in school. When she did return, she was more bruised, and in the meantime, I had heard back from CPS that the abuse was unfounded, and the girl no longer talked to me, would not make eye contact with me. Oh. And I became the problem. So you set up yourself as a teacher to have kids trust you. If they're at home, That's one thing where the abuse happens. If there's true abuse happening at home, right? Then they're in school most of the rest of their life. And if teachers are set up like this, because fast forward a few years, I'm actually at the high school, which is what I wanted to be at, teaching English in an at-risk program. And again, I get really close with the kids, and a very large 9th grade boy. I see a huge bruise on him, and I ask him what happened. He's like, my dad and I got into it, and he hit me with a flashlight. And he told me more than I wanted to know, but again, I decided to report it because there has been a history, of course. I mean, you don't just do these things in isolation. Mm-hmm. So I decided that it was okay to report, and the next day he came to school very mad at me. I felt threatened by the child because his dad had hauled ass on him that night because Child Protective had come. This was before I heard back from CPS. Again, it was unfounded. No abuse. And when I tried to tell what was going on, it was, well, we're understaffed. We can't do anything. Even if we were founded, there would be no help for this boy. And they say these things under their breath. And so the system was messed up back then. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure where they have extra time going after people like the stories we're hearing this week on your show, when the kids who are really getting abused cannot get help.
And this is what's confusing me, is that I keep hearing about the financial incentives and the way they get paid out through foster care and such, and Charmy even saying that a white baby was worth $60,000 and so on. So would an abused white baby be worth $60,000? I mean, how come this incentive is not working to protect the kids that are really getting hurt? And I can only imagine that maybe because the kids that are really getting hurt, there's too much hassle, they're too hard to deal with, they don't adopt out well. I can't understand this.
Exactly. I don't either. And so, as I age, I mean, I was in the classroom off and on for 32 years. And my last assignment was a journalism classroom where you wouldn't think you'd get really close with the kids, but well, think again. Mm-hmm. You stay late, you work on the paper, you learn a lot. And I also learned, when I did my master's degree, I followed the work of William Glasser. And he has choice theory. And his classroom application, he has classroom meetings. And I found in my master's thesis that if by just setting aside classroom time once a week to talk about personal and social and school-related issues with kids, that you actually got more instructional time during the week because they got all that stuff out. Mm-hmm. So if drama happened with kids, you could say, wait. And I called it burning issues. Wait till Friday when we do burning issues. And I had, the research bore out that it helped kids in my master's. So I used that, and so we have burning issues. And I ended up just having a blanket statement. Before every discussion, I would say 3 things I have to report. 1, any drug and alcohol use or abuse, you're a minor, I have to report that. And we don't glorify it. Don't talk to me about puking on your dog. It's not cool. Then any thoughts of suicide, my good conscience, I need to report you. And if you mention in any way, the 3rd thing is if you have been abused, I am a mandatory reporter and I have to report. So kids didn't tell me those things. Mm-hmm. And you look the other way, or you try to get them help in between the system. Right.
This is just, it's sad to hear, because I mean, the idea behind it, right? Here, who is a kid going to interface more than their parent, or is probably their teacher? And the idea to make it so that teachers would report these things and that we could, follow up on it. I mean, that's a good idea. It's just somehow in the implementation of this idea, we've gone far astray here. And I just can't see how, when teachers are reporting kids with bruises, that bruises don't get a kid taken away, but a pot plant gets a kid taken away. There's something seriously wrong here.
Exactly. And, in all the training, they say, your identity as a teacher will be protected. And it's not, because the kid tells one teacher they trust, and then they show up, the kid knows who told.
Right, exactly. And that just ruins the relationship with the teacher and makes them less trustful of not just the teacher, but other authority figures in the future when they're in trouble, when they need help, when they need assistance. And that just makes us a worse society overall. So it's just so sad. Well, union rules declare that we have to take a break, and given the subject matter, I think a little bit of herbal relaxation might be appropriate. Lisa, you owe a lot?
Sounds lovely. To Iowa pot.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
Cannabis Outreach Collective is an alternative health and wellness option located in Gladstone, Oregon, that serves patients in the Portland area and beyond. We are a full-service alternative health and wellness collective accommodating patients with natural, organic, holistic, and homeopathic remedies, nutritional guidance, advice, education, and medical cannabis, fully in accordance with Oregon OMMP law. You can find out more about Cannabis Outreach Collective on Facebook at COC503 or by emailing cannabisoutreachcollective503@gmail.com or by telephone at 503-853-1319. Check out our menu on Weed Maps and visit Cannabis Outreach Collective today.
Let him bring in the beat.
Adam Hand of Handmade Apparel produces quality custom designs for t-shirts, hats, and other apparel. Handmade Apparel is the official design shop for 420 Radio, The Russ Belville Show, Ganja John, and Cascadia Concentrates, among many clients who rely on Adam Hand for everything from short-run custom projects to full-run clothing lines. Adam's meticulous designs are individually crafted and screened in vibrant high-definition color. Visit handmadeapparel.biz to browse the selection of handmade gear or to get a personal quote for your own designs. Handmade Apparel, a proud supporter of 420radio.org.
Let him bring in the beat.
Bomb.
Don't let him down, Fox.
Ooh, yeah.
No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Just like that, baby. Don't stop. I like it. You like it, baby? Yeah.
No, sugar won't do it.
Feels good, right?
Big Daddy thinks.
Funky roller.
Don't let him down.
Oh, welcome back. It's Toker Talk Radio, Hour 2 of the Russ Belville Show here on 420radio.org. And programming notes coming up tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Pacific, a new edition of Big Daddy Fink's Funky Rollering. And coming up tonight, a new edition of Red Eyes Reggae Flashback with our very own Brian the Red. So, Brian, what's up?
Oh, man, just looking through my dad's old playlists and trying to put names to songs that were on unmarked tapes. So,
folks, hold that up to the camera there. Yeah, here it is. This one here. This is real stuff from like the radio days, handwritten ink
program
logs
that had the show name, date, the artist, the title track, and the album sometimes, and the label. With the record label, which helped with the FCC tracking and all that.
Yeah, this is the stuff Librameter keeps track of for us automatically. In fact, I just had to turn into to Timmy.
This is old school. Right?
Yeah, I had to turn him into the track listings for BMI so everyone can get their royalties and such. And this is the old school. So, folks, when you're listening to Red Eyes Reggae Flashback on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific and replays according to our schedule up online, know that this guy's putting a lot of time into it and really researching this.
Well, and these tracks are at least a dozen years old, most of them.
Yeah.
Or most of them probably a couple decades old. But, you know, I love the music, I like the reggae, and I like to get the music out to the people.
Right on, right on. All right, let's go back to our phone lines. We got Lively Libra. Lisa Calvin is still standing by. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Doing
Thanks
good.
For the
All
break.
right.
Needed it.
That's right. We definitely needed a break with this heavy-duty subject. We're kind of talking about Child Protective Services and what about the children, and why is it that a pot plant is so damn dangerous, but an abusive parent isn't? And Lisa here was a public school teacher at the middle school and high school level for years and years, and for folks that haven't heard your story before, maybe you can tell them how marijuana led to your abrupt retirement.
To my demise. Yeah, my semi-retirement into my next phase. I just turned 50, so it's kind of
That's right.
midlifey. Yeah, well, you know, I was teaching in a public school in Iowa, and I don't know. I've always used marijuana instead of alcohol since I discovered it, you know, recreationally. And then in January before then I discovered you. Yeah. I discovered you and I went on this whole, oh wow, I don't have to feel guilty. Oh, you mean pot's not bad? Oh, it's medicine?
Damn right.
Oh, wow. I mean, it was like a real eye-opener for me. And oh my God, people just openly smoking pot. What the hell? Because that's when you were on Stickum. But, you know, I felt at home. And then I got glaucoma in January of 2011. And everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know, I was like, whoa, okay. So I got prescribed these drops that sting horribly every night. They make my eyes constantly redder than good pot, and itchy and sensitive to light, and they're nasty, and they're $385 a month if you don't have insurance, which I don't now. So I, you know, decided I wanted to be free, but, you know, so the mister and I just kind of started doing a little podcast because we always sat around and talked about rights and the news on Sunday anyway, and then we were listening to you, and you kind of built a network, and we just jumped aboard. And I just tried to keep Lively Libra very separate from Lisa Calvin. You know, I mean, but everything is connected on the internet. And last year in November, a student stumbled upon and found out my identity and turned it into a teacher who turned it into the principal. And I got called in and was told I was going to meet. It was a Monday. I was to meet that Friday. I was to take everything down, and they were going to proceed with termination. So I got a union lawyer, and a long, sad story short is I had every right to fight them. It took 6 weeks of me teaching, not knowing what was going to happen the next day, not being able to say anything to the kids, to leave suddenly. And we finally resolved it, and they offered me a severance package to leave. It's close to $50,000 between the insurance and the salary and the unemployment that they've paid me, just because they didn't want to be embarrassed if the public were to find out that I wanted to smoke pot for glaucoma or whatever. So the First Amendment lawyer and the union lawyers that I talked with explained that I had every right to talk, but I have a family here, and I have a minor child, and I didn't want that to become public because I knew I would have to leave. But as a result, I still have to leave. So those plans are in progress because I've had so many people say, aren't you afraid the cops are going to show up? And, you know, I've had enough people say that to me that, yeah, now I am. So we're making plans to get free. And because I can't be an activist here under these conditions, especially with the stories you're running this week.
Yeah. So you're hitting the
Put it all together.
You're hitting the Undergreen Railroad?
Well, yeah. And you'll be one of the first to know when all the plans are in place.
Where do you plan on? Any general ideas of a particular state?
Well, yeah, I'm really looking West Coast, Washington or Oregon, huh?
Excellent.
So I've narrowed that down. So it's just a matter of when and how, and And yeah.
Well, I guess I owe an apology to the students in Iowa for indirectly leading to the removal of one of their favorite teachers, I'm sure.
Well, no, I don't think so, because I feel more free than I ever did. I feel, especially ever since Boston, I got to purge all of those demons that were brewing since my last day in the classroom, December 14th of last year. Finally, in September, I got to tell my story in a public way that was safe after all of the bribery money was gone. And I feel purged in a way, and I feel much better now. And so I made the mistake of trying to have a double life, trying to be, pot activist, Lively Libra, and then be Lisa Calvin, unassuming public school teacher by day.
Yeah. It's, not as easy as Superman putting on the glasses and the suit, right?
Right. Although I always did wear glasses and very loose clothing.
Well, I love hearing this perspective, because for me, I never tried to do that because I have a lousy poker face. I just knew from the beginning I'd never be able to pull it off. So I was blogging about these kind of things when I was working, but I was always in IT, so it was never a question of, corrupting influence on the children or anything like that. So I just find I find it so sad that, for our public school teachers who are the people that we want to get our kids thinking critically and being good citizens, that we then punish them for thinking critically and being good citizens.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And if you know anything about ALEC and the Common Core and what's going on, Iowa is a Common Core state, and the critical thinking isn't so much important anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole.
Anyway,
there's a whole other
thing,
rant on standardized testing and lack of critical thinking and our education system. People ask me sometimes, like, why, gosh, alcohol prohibition only lasted 13 years, but marijuana prohibitions last so long. What do you think? Why is that? And well, part of it is lack of education on the issue. I mean, the alcohol back in the day, kids in the 20s and 30s, got a pretty strict education. They got a lot of information pumped at them, and these days it's all just test related and highly censored, if you ask me.
It's bad. It's getting really bad. It's time to get out. I'm kind of glad I'm not in that system right now, because my skills weren't valued anymore, and I don't want to be someplace that I'm not valued.
Yeah.
But how it kind of relates to the whole CPS thing is what my lawyer explained, is that, by me saying I want it legal for my medical use or for my recreational use at night, whatever, is that then giving kids permission to use it recreationally. And it's the bifurcation of rights. I love that word. Same thing with medical patients who are parents. By simply using it, is that somehow giving the kids permission? Well, we don't have that problem with alcohol. We allow that in the home. And we don't look at any social. I have not heard of any of these parents that they were called on the carpet because their marijuana caused them to somehow neglect their child.
No, we don't get that. We get some alcoholic parents, though, that'll neglect a kid or abuse a kid. That's for sure.
Oh my God, yeah.
And
that's way more harmful. We know that. We know the social costs of alcohol abuse in the home are so much worse than anything. And the initial research coming out of these states is going to show that. The usage with kids are smoking less pot, but seniors are smoking more. Hallelujah.
Yeah. And okay, so let's get this from you. Since you were dealing with kids over the past decade or longer, as marijuana has become more and more accepted, as there's become more and more medical states, how did your kids' attitudes change toward pot? Did you find them knowing more, asking more, thinking differently about it?
No. Yeah, I guess the straight kids did, but there's always been a culture where we the people who smoke pot know it. We wink at each other. We don't talk about it. We hide, and we deal with it that way. And so those kids have always been there. They've always talked. They've always, I don't know. Their attitude. They've always known that pot's not the dare shit that they've been told. They know we're lying to them about it. Kids are so much smarter than we give them credit for.
I agree with you on that 100%. Did you have the DARE cops coming into your classrooms?
Yeah. No, that happens in the elementary school.
Oh, that's elementary, isn't it? That's right. Okay. So, well.
It's in 6th grade usually.
Yeah. And again, I guess I applaud you for, wanting to get out of Iowa, but I'm also sad that Iowa loses a great activist. But
well, I can still do that. And I'm making plans to carry on with that. I can visit and get the hell out. I have an RV and.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you out here on the West Coast where you can enjoy your freedom. And I think your activism has only just begun to bloom. You're going to be doing a lot of public speaking in the future. I can sense that.
Okay. Well, thank you for all you've done for me and continue to do, Russ. Because, unlike the rumors of you being a corporate shill, I know that you don't have a lot of resources and you've taken a lot of risks to do what you do and follow your heart, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm not against being a corporate shill. Any corporations out there want to throw me a few bucks, man, I'll shill. But thank you very much, and glad we could be on this journey together. And it was so fun seeing you out there in the great state of Massachusetts. We'll see you at the next rally, I'm sure.
Sounds good, and we run into each other at the strangest places. So excellent.
Yes, we do. So I've got a special song on cue for you. This is Napoleon the 14th. I owe a lot to Iowa
Everybody
pot.
shut up!
Oh, I owe a lot to Iowa pot. Iowa grown and grand. I never knew such beautiful boo. Grew in this groovy land I'm in, and I'm indebted indeed to wonderful weed. Iowa raised and born. Oh, I owe a lot to Iowa pot. And that's not just Iowa corn. Well, I never cared much for domestic. I would always be turning it down. But I just smoked a joint so majestic, so fantastic. It's the best stick in town, and it blooms in this Midwestern section. And there isn't a glimmer of doubt it could shake a Jamaica connection, 'cause it's cheap, deep, and far bleeping out. Oh, I owe a lot to Iowa pot. Iowa grown and grind. I never knew such beautiful boo. Grew in this groovy land I'm in, and I'm indebted indeed to wonderful weed. Iowa raised and born. Oh, I owe a lot to Iowa pot, and that's not just Iowa corn. Contraband from the land cross of the border is El Ropo and risky to get, while of course the exotic importer takes your order from his private jet. So just keep your Colombian ripoff and your shady Canadian scene, 'cause I'd sooner be singeing my lip off on some straight, great Iowa green. Everybody sing I owe a lot to Iowa pot. Iowa grown and ground. I never knew such beautiful bloom. Grew in this groovy land I'm in. And I'm indebted indeed to wonderful weed, yes. Iowa raised and born. Okay, everybody, shut up. Oh, I owe a lot to Iowa. And that's not just Iowa corn. No, that's not just Iowa corn.
You know Herb Thrasher from the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, home of the famous lighter leash. Herb Age Designs. Get your Herb Age t-shirts and hoodies and show your pride. Herb Age Designs. We've got Frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs. We've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com. And follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter. We'll see you at this year's Hemp Fest. Crank it up.
Приветствую. Меня зовут Дани Данько. Я редактор журнала High Times. Отвечаю за отдел культивации, или, проще говоря, выращивания. Приглашаем вас в Амстердам с 24 по 28 ноября, чтобы посетить ежегодный турнир Cannabis Cup, уже 26-й по счету. Там мы сравним множество видов марихуаны и гашиша из межных кофешопов. Еще у нас там выставка товаров, семинары по выращиванию, ночные концерты и вручение премии за лучший в мире сорт марихуаны. Хотите получить 10% скидку со стоимости билета? Используйте промокод DANKO на сайте cannabiscup.com. Ждем вас!
Who would you rather your kids talk to about drugs? You? Or some guy? When your kids find out you've been lying to them about marijuana, who will they trust? Let's have a rational discussion about drug reform. Let's tax and regulate marijuana, restrict youth access, and create safer communities.
Hustle, meaning that you need to move a muscle. We be born to kill it, I'ma keep my feathers ruffled. All the time, all the way, not looking for a scuffle. How am I supposed to live another way? A hustler supreme, you gon' see my shine, you gon' see my gleam. A hustler supreme, you gon' see my shine, you gon' see my gleam, yeah. A hustler supreme, you gon' see my shine, you gon' see my gleam.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Toker Talk Radio here on a Hemp Day Hump Day, hanging out with Brian the Red, who's preparing the Red Eyes Reggae flashback for later tonight.
Yeah, my damn thumb drive would work.
Thumb drive. Thumb drive gets a thumbs down.
Yeah, thumb drive.
Technical difficulties. I hope folks during the break got to see our killer bunny. We now have a killer rabbit. It's got great, big, pointy teeth.
Right, and it can leap about
so far.
Look at the bones, man.
Jeez. So yeah, we got that going on. So that's pretty cool. And coming up in the next couple of weeks, just as far as schedule goes, keep in mind that we've got Thanksgiving coming up pretty soon. So the Thursday and Friday of Thanksgiving, we won't have live shows because we'll be giving thanks because we live in Oregon and we got weed like this. My goodness, you'd be thankful too. But also coming up the first week of December, we've got some interesting remote shows that we'll be doing. Let's get some weed over there to Larry, by the way. Got some remote shows that we'll be doing, including December 4th. I'll be doing a show from Phoenix, Arizona, because I have a 10-hour layover for my flight. I'm trying to make it to the Key West Legal Seminar for Normal, and my flight, Portland to Phoenix, and then Phoenix to Fort Lauderdale. So I got 10 hours in Arizona. So we're going to do a show probably from Lax Lounge in Tempe, where we did a show before. Our good friend Johnny Rohr helped us out to set that up. So I think we'll be back there, and we'll do a show there on the Wednesday, December 4th. Then Thursday, December 5th, and Friday, December 6th, shows from Key West, Florida. That's right. We're going to be at the southernmost key, the southernmost part of the continental United States, I do believe. And it will be beautiful. It'll be December. It'll be in gorgeous blue waters and temperatures in the 70s, and It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. The Normal Legal Seminar will be there. So we're going to be interviewing all sorts of normal lawyers and getting their take on the 2014 season that will be coming up right around the corner. So those will be our remote shows. And then the following week, our shows will be from Miami, Florida. So we'll be bringing you all more Miami and South Florida news and shows. So stay tuned for those coming up in December. And remember, you can help support us, help support all these operations by becoming a VIP member at 420radio.org. We are listener-supported cannabis community radio, kind of like public radio. So we have membership drives and VIP memberships, and VIPs get discounts at our stores and discounts on our events. So please help us out if you can. Every little bit helps. You can join for as little as $9.99. All right, so I want to check out a couple of stories here for Toker Talk Radio that I found interesting. And also, if you have any comments or questions, our phone lines are now open at 971-533-7111. A lot of people have been bringing up this story to me because they know what a huge football fan I am. And by the way, came back from Boise, Idaho, loaded with Boise State gear. God, it's good. I got all my Boise State gear, so things are good there. New flag. Yeah, I had new flag. I got socks, and I even got a little thing that plays the fight song. It's great, man. So anyway, so I love football, and so they bringing me the story of Sam Hurd. He played his last season with the Bears, but he played his first 4 or 5 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. And the story out of this is that Sam Hurd, in testimony now in court, said he smoked marijuana and distributed it to his teammates while he was with the Cowboys. This was a Sports Illustrated story. Said he admitted to smoking high-grade California marijuana for the last 3 or 4 years of his NFL career, all day, every day, and I didn't want to hear anyone trying to tell me I had a problem. Hurd is expected to be sentenced to life in prison in federal court on Wednesday in Dallas for drug trafficking. Hurd told Sports Illustrated that most of the marijuana he had shipped in from California he smoked himself or shared at cost with friends, including 20 to 25 teammates spanning his 5 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. Don't hear many of these guys piping up as far as, their use. But this guy's going away for a while. And I thought it'd be interesting because when people brought up this Sam Hurd case, because I have the fantasy football league that's going on. Of course, my team is all guys that had, broken the substance abuse list. So, Sam Hurd could have been on the team if only he wasn't being put in prison for the rest of his life. So I thought it might be interesting to look up Sam Hurd on NFL.com and just find out a little bit about his record, his stats going back to his time with the Cowboys. Apparently we got breaking news here. Breaking news, Sam Hurd was sentenced to 15 years in prison for his role in drug distribution. So 15 years. He didn't get life, so that's decent. We'll try to find some statistics on this during the break because I'm not finding real quick where I can find statistics on players. Where would that be on NFL.com? See, this is what I get for not planning ahead. I did the search, and this is what I got. So, all right, well, I will look it up during the break, and we'll find out. Because I'm curious. He said he was smoking high-grade marijuana the last 3 or 4 years. Did his stats suffer? Let's find out. We'll take a look at that. But also, wanted to bring up this other story, and this was our good friend Ngayo Bilam has a column that he's writing now for the Sacramento News Review, and you can email questions to Ngayo, and he'll answer them in print. The email address is ask420@newsreview.com. And you can get your questions into Ngayo, and he'll answer them. And he's got a great question, which was, who comes up with all these weed names? I've seen strains called Charlie Sheen, Green Crack, and even Girl Scout cookies. Now, Ngayo does a good response here, explaining how, back in the day, most strain names had to do with geography. Acapulco Gold, Panama Red, Afghani, Matanuska Thunderfuck, Maui Wowie, Kona Gold. There you go. It had to do with where it was coming from, right? And kind of like you'd say maybe
Humboldt, Big Bud,
like a Florida grapefruit, right? It's where it came from is what mattered. Then he said, as it became more of an indoor industry, Now that you're growing it indoor, it really didn't matter where you were growing it. So having the name match the geography didn't make a whole lot of sense. So that became more of lifestyle, like champagne, lamb's bread, white widow, blueberry, tangerine kush, bubblegum, you know, what you get the taste of, or try to describe the brand, right? Now he's saying that, you know, with all these good names have been taken, and in this, in the prohibition marketplace, that you basically have to come up with something flashy to get people's attention, and that's how you're ending up with, you know, green crack, God's pussy, cat piss, you know, he's
alpha bitch.
Yeah, alpha bitch. All these awful strain names, because generally it's the breeder, you know, the grower who names the strain.
But it's just the name that sucks. The weed usually kicks ass.
Right. That's what the guy was saying. He goes. It's a shame because green crack is one of my favorite strains to smoke. Yet the name bugs me to no end. Who in the world besides the Drug Enforcement Administration wants to compare marijuana to crack? And then he complains about, you know, Charlie Sheen, and, you know, it's like whenever there's a celebrity that's involved with drugs, you know, all of a sudden there's a strain that's named after him. And it's like,
well, and the reason for that is the people take something that's not moving, they up it $3 a gram, and then call it something else, like Obama Kush.
There you go. Exactly what I was going to get to is that, yeah, like you've been working on this strain for years and years and years, and you were calling it Charlie Sheen back in the day. It just so happens that Charlie Sheen got in trouble. No.
Oh yeah, it's just awesome foresight on your part.
It's amazing. So check those out, and in Gaio's column again can be found at newsreview.com, and you can send emails to ask420@newsreview.com if you'd like to get your question asked. And we're going to take a short little break so I can look up that NFL information. Also, want to thank the guys at the Chain Gang of 1974. You can follow them on Twitter at the Chain Gang of 1974. They're the band behind this tune that we all love so much. And they gave me a retweet the other day, so shout out to you guys. Love your music.
You cut people, you smoke trees till you get what you need now. Designer drugs and minted smokes to get through the day. You always get them so high.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
I'm Sub Cool from Team Green Avenger. At TGAgenetics.com, we are working on the leading edge of medical strains. Our strains are rigorously tested for THC, CBD, THCV, and other critical cannabinoids. Know your grow. Check out our genetic diversity at TGAgenetics.com, the home of Jelly Bean, Jack the Ripper, Vortex, and other award-winning cannabis strains.
Hi, this is Dan Michaels. If you're looking for professional voice talent for your commercial or podcast, I'm your man. Visit danmichaelsaudio.com for more information.
Ever wonder how often to change your bong water? The most effective method for baking pot brownies? The best destinations for a ganja getaway? How to hide herb in your car? Whether to grow your own? How precisely to legalize it? Or how something as wonderful as marijuana ever got to be illegal in the first place? Finally, you can find all these answers and much more in the official High Times Pot Smoker's Handbook, featuring 420 things to do when you're stoned. Since 1974, High Times Magazine has covered marijuana in all its aspects and wonders, from cultivation to legalization to the herb's enduring and exalted place in popular culture. Packed with inside information, the official High Times Pot Smoker's Handbook rolls all of this collected wisdom together into a single indispensable ganja guide, including an entertaining look at marijuana's history, profiles of herb-friendly travel destinations and festivals, favorite potluck recipes from the High Times staff, smoking skills, advocacy and activism, essential marijuana movies and songs, profiles of famous cannabis strains, comprehensive growing information, celebrity endorsements, and much more. This is truly, finally, the ultimate guide to green living.
I'm as happy as a newborn baby boy, playing with his little choo-choo toy. Ever since I found my Mary Jane.
Well, welcome back. That's Bill Donington to Mama's Home Cooking with Some of You People Been Smoking My Joint. Don't do that. That's mean. My joint. All right, so we're winding up Toker Talk Radio. We were just talking about the breaking news that former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Sam Hurd has been sentenced to 15 years in prison due to his involvement with marijuana trafficking, where he supplied weed at cost to 20 to 25 of his teammates on the Dallas Cowboys. And he played for the Cowboys from 2006 through 2010, and then played 1 year with the Bears, 2011, before he was arrested and all this stuff went down. And I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at his statistics, because he said in the last 3 or 4 years of his career, he was smoking high-grade marijuana from California that was being shipped in. So first couple of years of his career, 2006 and 2007, he played 15 and 16 games respectively. 2008, he only played 3 games. I don't know if that, maybe he had an injury, took him out, right? So the 2006-07 stats to me would be the pre-heavy-duty marijuana smoking years. And then his stats from 2009, 10, and 11 would be the post-heavy-duty marijuana smoking years. Now, in all the years, he played 15 or 16 games until that last year with the Bears. He played 12 games. He wasn't always a starter. He did get some receptions, as low as 5 receptions in 2006, but 14 receptions in 2010. He had an average that was in around, 15-yard average. Over his career, his average was 13.9 yards per catch. He averaged about 9.6 yards a game. His longest reception was a 53-yarder. He also, in 2007, had a 51-yard touchdown reception. But I don't see a huge difference in his stats before marijuana and after marijuana. Now, he did have 1 fumble in his career. That was in 2011 against the Bears. So it wasn't like he was fumbling or stumbling or anything like that. Now, it's who knows if he could have been a better receiver without marijuana, but it seems to me pre-marijuana and post-marijuana he exhibited the same stats. Not a whole lot of difference. Also, on his defensive statistics, because he played some defense and kick return, on his defensive statistics, again, we don't see a whole lot of difference. He averaged, or he had a total of 51 tackles over 6 years, and not much difference in the pre or post marijuana era for Sam Hurd. We're not seeing much difference there. So this idea that we need to suspend or punish NFL players that are using marijuana seems absurd to me. I don't see any evidence, at least in Sam Hurd's statistics, that it hurt his career any. I don't see any evidence in Ricky Williams' statistics to indicate it hurt his career. In fact, we've had 2 Super Bowls that were won by marijuana smokers, Santonio Holmes and Plaxico Burress, respectively, that caught the game-winning Super Bowl touchdown catch. And especially in light of this new HuffPost YouGov poll that showed that most people, 64% of people said that we shouldn't fire people if they use marijuana off hours. Well, that would certainly apply to the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. Why are those players getting busted if they happen to choose marijuana instead of alcohol when they get done with the game? And given what we know about the protective properties of cannabis against brain injury and the ability to not only ameliorate the effects of a concussion, but actually help regenerate brain tissue after concussion, then it seems ridiculous to me that we would punish these guys. We should be encouraging these guys to swap their alcohol for marijuana use. There should be volcano vaporizers on the sidelines. When a guy gets his bell rung, you give him the bag and you send him to the locker room. That is the first line of defense, but no, we can take these guys in a locker room and pump them full of oxycodone and pump them full of all sorts of anti-inflammatories and all sorts of painkillers and get them right back out onto the field. But the idea that we're going to give them some cannabis and save their brains? Why is that so far-fetched? God, I hope I live long enough to see that. I hope I live long enough to see some sort of cannabinoid therapies being used for boxers, mixed martial artists, hockey, rugby, anybody who can get these concussions, because we could save so many of these men's lives, so many of these athletes' lives, and improve the quality of their life. How much better would Muhammad Ali's life be right now if he'd had a cannabinoid therapy starting about 1980? Think about it. All right, that's all the time we got here. For Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us here on 420 Radio. Free Weed is next with a new episode and Danny Danko. So until next time, take care of each other, Tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it,